Gaming NBS episode 273 being recorded Monday, December 23rd. Ho, 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 2019. Welcome to Gaming NBS, a tabletop RPG podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Brett. And holy fuck, was that music loud, dude.
Oh, is it really?
Wow, that was loud. I'm like, reaching for the mute button. Like, damn.
Must have hit the loud button.
Must have hit the blow out Brett's ears button. Damn it. Well, it is December 23rd, so Sean, that means Christmas is, as of this recording, 2 days away.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are you set? Are you ready?
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I don't know. Christmas, I've already had it at Mom's, and then tomorrow I head over to sister-in-law's after work, because I work tomorrow.
You work tomorrow?
Well,
oddly enough, I have
work,
okay.
quote unquote
all right,
work.
yeah.
Like, I mean, nobody's around.
Yes.
I mean,
I had
Bloody Mary's in the office. I don't know.
Bit, yeah. I had officially, I'm supposed to have today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off this week. They're holiday for us. So, of course, I work 4 hours today because some people in China couldn't follow directions. So,
well,
good times.
Documentation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's been documented. My network is well documented.
I'm sure.
Anyway, don't get me started.
Yeah. Don't poke the bear.
Anyway, Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating.
Yeah, there's plenty of holidays around this time. So, by God, I hope whatever it is you all are celebrating, even if you don't celebrate anything officially, just hang out and relax and enjoy the time off. Do that. Maybe get some gaming in.
Yeah, do that.
So, Sean, speaking of gaming, did you get anything done this last weekend? Any gaming?
No.
I played in my buddy's Rage of Demons on Friday.
Rage of Demons.
Yeah, a little 5e stuff. And then I ran Delta Green on Saturday. And today I did a brief bit of D&D with my 2 youngest kids, AJ and Lana, getting their characters moved up to the next piece. They just got ambushed by goblins not that long ago. So
yeah.
They're recovering from that, as you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going well there. Let's see here. Had an EverCon meeting, so evercon.org. That's happening in January, which is next month, pretty damn fast, 10, 11, 12. Sean will be there on Saturday at least, so if you want to come up and spend time, Saturday, of course, is the cool day to be there. It's the big day. And Sean will be there, which makes the con twice as incredibly cool. So, yeah, he'll be there. Find Sean. Ask him personal questions about stuff. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sure. Check
that out. And just as a reminder, my 2 Avalon adventures, Iron Shoes and Blacksmith's Folly, and Iron Shoes are on Drive-Thru RPG.
What?
Which is pretty cool.
Blacksmith's Folly, is that written by Bart Blashinsky too?
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Yeah, it's my pen name. Yeah, I made my name even harder and more complicated to say. That's what I did.
Sweet.
All right. Let's see. I think that's about it. Any more announcements, man?
Nope.
Cool. All right, let's random encounter this sucker.
Random encounter. That's this button. All right. Fielding emails and voicemails and all that other good stuff from BSers around the world.
Exactly.
Around the world.
Your turn. You read first.
The Mysterious Brother writes in with how he sees gaming. You'll have an appreciation for this, Brett.
I probably will.
It's not really a mysterious brother because I seen his email. Can't be mysterious if you got to submit your email with a name in it.
Nice.
Hee. Yo, it's the Mysterious Brother here. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in about house ruling. So I drink whiskey, much like Brett. By the way, what were you sipping on in the last episode, Brett?
That is a Glenmorangie. It is a Spios version. This is the one that our wonderful Laramie Wall gifted to Sean and I, and Sean let me bring it home and have some of it. So it's what I have right now, actually, as well. It's not done yet.
I happen to be sipping on Drambuie.
So, yeah, you're a Drambuie guy, and I just can't. I'm not a Drambuie guy.
It's a sweet one.
I know.
It doesn't burn.
Hey, maybe
it's candy. It's candy whiskey.
Maybe that's the problem.
Candy scotch.
Maybe that's the problem. It doesn't have enough pain involved in it.
Well,
If it doesn't taste like I'm drinking charcoal wrapped nails, I'm not interested.
It's a cordial, right?
It's a cordial,
you drink it after dinner, I guess. Yes. I don't know.
So you feel cordial. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I had. Carry on.
So same as that. Anyways, I say the best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink the way you like to drink it.
Straight
on the rocks, straight, mixed, whatever.
Damn straight, brother.
I think this can be applied to gaming as well. The best game is the game you like the way you like it. Let me rephrase that. The best game is the game you like the way you like to play it. Just wanted to throw that out there. Y'all have a good holiday. P.S. My best whiskey is Monkey Shoulder. It's a blended scotch. I drink it straight, usually with a cigar. You should try it, man.
I have heard really good things about Monkey Shoulder. I need to get myself a bottle. Have that, light a pipe, kick back. Might be worth it. And I think our quasi-mysterious brother here, it's a fair point. And this is kind of a very succinct way that we've said it. You know, the best game is the one you like to play the way you're playing it, right? If you and your friends are having fun, and I know some people will come down on us or anybody else who says, oh, fun is the only thing and blah, blah, blah. But frankly, if you're not playing RPGs if you're not playing to have fun, I feel bad for you. Because goddamn, it's a good time.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. If you're gaming and you're not having fun, something's going on.
I think I explained this perhaps last time, but some of the fun my kids reminded me today when we started up the 5e campaign again and got back into it. And I said, what happened last time? And Alana's going through all the notes. AJ is giving some extra info. And Alana says, oh, yes, we also found that magical spoon that was carved in the shape of a spoon, which was the description that their wonderful father gave them. You find this spoon carved in the shape of a spoon. I just said offhandedly. Wow. And they stopped.
You are so articulate, right?
And they said, what? And I'm like, well, wow, that came out horribly. It was like 15 minutes of just giggling. You know, a bowl in the shape of a bowl and a hat shaped like a hat. It was not much of that throughout the rest of the evening. Well, the next time they come to a door. It's in the shape of a door.
And it's not a jar.
Exactly.
They can't poke fun.
Exactly. So I might have to have them find a door in the shape of a jar.
Right.
Which will just freak them out. They're like, what? Oh, well, the door's a jar. But I'm bump. And then they might leave me and go back downstairs or do something else.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, if you're not having fun, goofy fun, serious fun, however you want it and get it, feel bad for you. Really do.
Yeah. Fix that.
All right. So Matt V comments on house rules. Late to discussion. Oh, come on, Matt. It's an evergreen topic, brother. You're on time. He said, I meant to post this before so as not to bring it into a 3-parter episode. My bad. If it's going to make the episode too long, just ignore it. We ignore nothing, Matt. You're in. I'm always house ruling. When I first read through a game, I take notes and write up a wiki on Obsidian Portal with all the house rules I'm going to use for that system/game. Yes, I house rule before I even play a game. In fact, nearly all my house rules come from before I even play a game, only adding others to parts that are fundamentally broken we find during play. Nice thing is that my players know them all going in, and if something doesn't work, I allow pretty generous rebuild rules. But that hasn't been an issue for many years now. In the last decade or so, I've only had maybe 3 to 4 times where I had to change a house rule, and that's on 17 games and 12 systems. So I've gotten pretty good at it. I will say that came from a lot of trial and error for the past 15 years previous. Despite this, I'm sympathetic to the why are you playing that game then crowd. I often wonder why I read all these changes, read about all the changes some people make to their D&D game. They aren't using a system that does what they wanted to without major alterations, especially in this day and age where there's so much variety. I read almost daily about people massively overhauling a game, 9 out of 10 versions of D&D, and can name 5 games that already do what their goal is without all the fidgeting. I really do think many more people would be happy if they branched out a little. However, I'm familiar with a fair number of systems and intimate with enough that I usually pull the game I want, but still needs more customization. So for me, it often comes more to making the game more what I need it to do. I do have some house rules I tend to carry from system to system, though I won't make it fit if it's clunky. And those are cards for initiative, player-facing dice, chase rules, so I'm still looking for a set I'm really happy with. I have ones that I'm more than adequate for what I usually find. Expanding ways to earn and use hero points /Benny/fate chips, etc. Oh, and for once I think Sean was wrong. Sean, you're back to 0.
What?
Although I think he backpedaled a little bit in the follow-up episode. Fantasy Heartbreaker, you said it first. I have a buddy who's only ever played and read D&D and Pathfinder, and he's designing a game. Very, quote-unquote, innovative idea, he excitedly tells me.
Every
innovative idea, excitedly tells me. I can name at least a few games that already did and usually do better than how he's planning to do it. I'm trying to give him some tough love, but I just can't get through to him. He always walks away sad, but doesn't really take any action to remedy the situation. I'm also designing a game, but I've played dozens of games and immersed myself in at least 50 or more before even embarking on the journey. And I admit this is probably the other extreme of no knowledge. No, as in N-O. That may be a better resource than a new system, actually. The last reference guide I saw was from 2012, and the industry has done a lot since then. But I'm also not an engineer like that guy was. Is setting a house rule? At first I thought no, but as I thought about it a little bit more, I think Brett is right, and it's a type of house rule. Brett, you tied back up again. He's keeping score for us, by the way. Anyway, very interesting couple of episodes. The important thing is I learned I'm gaming wrong again. Keep up the great work. Oh, I also started a blog. It's pretty bare bones, but I do have a review of Mutineer Zero after my first few sessions, if anyone was interested in that system. My players love it so far. And we have a link out there, rpgandbeyond.com/Mutineer Zero review. Link in the show notes, folks, if you're interested. That's interesting stuff, man. Thanks, Matt. That was not overly lengthy. That's totally cool. And I think your thoughts, your insights, that's good stuff. There's a piece you said there, house rule, and you said needs more customization. And I think sometimes when we say house rule, we sometimes think, oh, I have to fix something. I'm adding, blah, blah, blah. You know, it feels like there's this fundamental. But when you say customize, like, oh, he got his car. He added different rims to it. Oh, they painted his house different. Oh, he changed this slight thing, and now it's customized. It's more that person. And I think if we looked at house rules in that fashion, if it's done by a person or by a group, it's customized. So now it is that group. It's more them. That's kind of cool. Neat way to think about it, I think, anyway. Anyway, over to you, Sean.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Brett with 1T messages us about house rules. Hey, BST boys.
Nice.
Wanted to let you know about a couple house rules I've enjoyed using in my campaigns. One was with a homebrew world of mine using Exalted 2nd Edition rules. That system features charms, supernatural skills that PCs can learn in a similar way to getting dots in Vampire, the Masquerade, disciplines. You spend the XP, you get a charm. But in my game, charms came from one supernatural entity that visited the characters in their dreams. It would only teach a charm to a character if they did something that constituted a sin against one of their virtues. I ruled that whenever that happened, they risked permanently losing a dot in the virtue, similar to the way Vampire the Masquerade characters risk losing dots of humanity when they commit inhuman acts.
True.
Oh, okay.
No, I like it. I
don't know Vampire.
Yeah, so you've got virtues, you've got like humanity. It's basically like ethics and your virtues that you have. And what I like what he's doing there. That's interesting. Okay, keep going.
And in my game, if a character's virtues all became 0, they became a raving mad person and an NPC.
Makes sense.
So this set up a delightful tension between characters' need to grow in power to defeat the really bad guys and their need to avoid becoming one of them. Needless to say, this campaign had a pretty dark mood. I know this might go beyond house rule territory and into the area of fundamentally modifying the game, but your recent episode on house rules made me think of it. And hey, maybe some listener running White Wolf might want to do something similar. Yeah, fair, sure.
I like the idea, especially when you've got dots and points and different virtues or flaws and stuff you've got out there, like willpower, humanity, like, and saying, look, I'll give, essentially what you're saying is, I'll give you this in exchange for some of that. And then you watch as the character says, well, okay, I'll sell off part of my humanity in order to get some power. I mean, that's, there's movies based on that. I mean, there's some amazing tales based on that exact problem. So anyway, carry on.
Also, I'm currently running a Pathfinder 1st Edition game in which I've made a house rule to modify how magic items are made. With the Pathfinder groups I've been in, I've found that there's a real appetite for treasure and sometimes even an exception that PCs will be rewarded with enough gold piece value and treasure to keep up with the standard amount of character wealth by level.
Huh.
This is largely to fund their often optimized magic item creation schemes. While I don't have enormous problems with power gaming if all PCs do it roughly equally, I do find that this expectation limits the kind of encounters and story arcs I can include in my campaigns. So in my current game, I've ruled that gold is not the currency for magic item creation. Instead, whenever a character does something exceptionally creative or clever to accomplish their ends, a god of sorts rewards them with quintessence, the proto-substance of all magic items. And I've made the values of quintessence rewards such that party members will keep up with their expected character wealth by level if the party as a whole performs 10 such creative acts each level. The players are happy to have their crafting schemes. I'm happy to have whatever kinds of encounters I want, and the setting benefits from having a more sensible economy. Everybody wins. Keep on gaming and BSing. All. Cheers, Brett.
Brett, that's pretty cool, man. I like the thought you've put into this around, you obviously know your group, you know what they want to do, how they want to do it, the stuff that they crave in this Pathfinder 1E game, and you look at it going, if I give them this is kind of shooting me in the foot. I see this as like, hey, Brett explains this to his group, and they're like, wow, that's cool. You get to do this cool thing. I still get to do what I want. I just have to get this other weird thing called quintessence. Oh, that's cool. It's a cool enough word. It's a neat enough approach. Fuck, dude, that's awesome. I like that. That's very neat.
Yeah, thanks, Brett, man.
Well done. All right, Harrigan wrote in about house rules and says, fellas, on house rules, they used to be my jam. In the 90s, you weren't a GURPS GM worth your salt if you didn't have a couple house rules. Usenet was a pretty incredible place for sharing ideas back then, and I remember printing off hundreds of pages of rules people had come up with and shared. These days, I try to only house rule if something in the system is seriously borked. Anything little, annoying little things used to catch my attention, like a 45 pistol having a higher damage rating than a hunting rifle. But these days, I skew towards simpler games that don't provide that level of simulationism. That might be part of why I dig lighter games these days. No need to fuss over the stuff you can't unsee in the system. Well, the reasons I like both the OSR and the Tiny D6 games so much that they provide tons of room for the GM to flex their creative muscle without the need to gut the system or replace a bunch of core pieces. Both offer many opportunities for bolt-on coolness that scratches that tinkerer's itch. I'll close with a couple of portable house rules I've been using lately across a few different systems. The first is pushing. The example as seen in Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition. Sean, you should be familiar with this. Where a player can choose to re-roll a failure if they're willing to accept much graver consequences if they fail a second time. There aren't too many systems you can't graft that onto, and it makes for wonderful storytelling. Second, I love rolling a d6 as a GM when an event or outcome is uncertain or unrelated to the capabilities of the PCs. Low is bad, high is good. If a particularly interesting things happen in 1s and 6s. This is an age-old idea that stems, I think, from the AD&D DMG, but I've recently rediscovered how much I like it in practice. Something else I like these days is straight-up luck systems, like DCC has or Call of Cthulhu has, diminishing resources the players have to manage. Maybe not appropriate for all games, but pretty damn cool in those situations where the GM is slowly wearing down the party, forcing them to make harder and harder decisions. Enjoy the holidays, guys. Here's to 2020 beating the crap out of 2019, putting it in the trunk and dumping it in the lake. Harrigan. I like the way Harrigan wraps up a year.
Put it in the trunk and dumping it in the lake.
I'm not sure I'm qualified to party with Harrigan, but by God, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Good stuff, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Harrigan. DM Kojo has a question for BSers.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, greetings, BSers. I'm curious what system-neutral Game Master aids you keep in your toolbox to help you craft your games and worlds.
That's a damn good idea.
That's a great question. Do you have any that you find yourself coming back to time and again? When I look at my shelf, the books I most frequently reference are Tome of Adventure Design by Frog God Games, the Alphabet series from Goodman Games, including the Dungeon Alphabet by Michael Curtis and the Monster Alphabet by Joe Bittman, the Random Esoteric Creature Generator by James Raggi, the Storyteller's Thesaurus by James Ward and Ann Brown, and How to Write Adventure Modules That Don't Suck by Goodman Games. I'm sure there are many other gems out there that you and your esteemed listening public can recommend to build on these valuable resources. Thanks, DM Kojo.
I got a new topic idea. Hang on a second while I crap that son of a gun right into the hopper. Damn. That's a good one. And there's plenty of other ones that when Kojo says here, system neutral, there are plenty that are built. I shouldn't say plenty. I can think off the top of my head of at least one that was specifically designed or published under a systems banner that is easily, or at least has been for me, used for other stuff. So, cool. All righty. That's going into Hoppa. That's there. That's good. That's good stuff.
So we'll post that out on the forums too, Kojo, and we'll get people that chime in. And
totally.
Then when we talk about it online, or we talk about it on the show, we'll throw out a few that people come up with.
Yeah. This is good stuff.
Yeah. We put out their top 3 interesting choices that we're finding with people on the deserted island.
Oh, yeah?
Well, there are some that have chosen Tunnels and Trolls because you could play it solo.
Yes.
Which wasn't my whole intention, of course, but I guess by saying deserted island.
You say desert island. Well, hey, there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to take you serious and say, well, fuck that. I guess I got to find something I can play by myself.
Well, there were some cool ones that had popped up I did not anticipate. I think one was Gamma World. That was kind of surprising. Gamma World, somebody put out Marvel, but I didn't know if the Marvel one they were talking about was Cortex-based or Phaser Rip.
Okay.
And then some of the pretty standard ones, D&D, different versions. But yeah, good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
Slick.
Yeah, but I think that's it for Random Encounter.
Cool. Let's move on then, man.
Yeah, let's go to main topic. All right,
man. So I want to talk about consequences. I know. This is shit we don't like.
Life is full of consequences.
Yes, it is. So here's an interesting thing, and this might be an old school approach or a thought that's long had its day, blah, blah, blah. But I distinctly remember reading, and I refreshed my mind by rereading this. There are direct examples and ideas / commands, if you will, from Gygax and others, and I've even seen this from newer people, newer game designers, not so much said, sometimes tongue firmly planted in cheek, and other times, just like, hey, it might be a good idea. But if the PC or player does something, quote unquote, stupid, they should pay a price. Okay, cool. Okay, I get that. How do you know if it's the player or the PC doing something stupid? Do you punish the PC or do you punish the player? Are we punishing players?
Both. Punish them both. Get them both. There's no time to think about it.
There's no time to think. Just
Makes
take them
it
down.
just easier.
Just take
easier.
them down.
Just both of them. Bam, boom.
So give me an example. So at some point, if you played long enough, or at least back in the old days, Sean, have you ever run into this one where the DM finally says, all right, assholes, everything you say at the table your character says? Because you're tired of the table talk.
I have been that game master.
And you're punishing the players for their poor quality of play.
Well, I've done it in a couple ways. One, I've said, "Hey, look, okay, we need to tone it down." Like way early on, I got
this is player focused though. This has nothing to do with the PCs are doing. That's what I'm talking about.
But I've said that to like Jason. He'll talk at the table and say, "Well, you should do this and you should do that." And I'm like, "Wait, hold on a second, man. You need to bring that meta talk, take
it down a notch.
Nix that stuff."
Yep.
And then I loosen up, okay? And then there's as they start to talk about stuff and they're having a conversation as they're in the middle of, I don't know, a corridor with wandering monsters, I just ask, or they're in front of a character NPC and they're talking about what they plan on doing with the NPC. I simply ask them, like, are you guys talking about this? Like right now,
you
out in
seriously
the
said
open?
you're going to kick his ass, roll him, and take all his gold. Did
that
you
what you're
just say
saying?
that out loud?
Did you say that out loud? Is that what's going on here? You guys having the discussion in front of the NPC? Because the one thing that irks the fucking bejesus out of me at times, and I've really loosened up personally on this, is when they will take a prisoner, they will interact with a NPC leader type.
Yep.
They're in the room. It's a 10 by 15 room. And they're all the players are all talking to each other about what they should do and what they should say. And they're all in a 10 by 15 foot room with that NPC in the room.
It's hard to have a private conversation in that little of space.
So I'm kind of thinking to myself, if you are running a role-playing game and you're a character, you're not going to have that debate with your other players or other characters on what you're going to say next. So you're going to have the knucklehead that's going to go and say something ridiculous.
Cut his fucking fingers off. Just cut his fingers off.
Cut his fingers off. Yeah, we'll just like torture him and get what we need and blah, blah, blah. Well, I say we should waste them. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. He'd probably be valuable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on now.
So those examples to me it's kind of clear when you're like, okay, SmackDown somehow on players. Like, hey, stop. Some of the old DM, I think in a DMG, it specifically says, like, look, if people do certain things like wandering monsters, you dicking around too long, wandering your monster.
Yeah.
Or the ethereal.
Poke them, get them in to do something.
Yeah.
There's
always the ethereal mummy that shows up. It's fully invisible, strikes first, and does maximum damage. That's in a DMG. You can do this. Or bolts from the blue. Somebody does something stupid, lightning bolt hits them.
Where does it come from?
Gods are pissed. Gods are pissed. They nail your ass.
But this goes back to the thing we said last time with, isn't that just the DM being a dick? Like, they don't want me to play that way, so they're just being a dick.
So here's where I'm coming from is I think it's interesting because there's certain points where we say we need to stop something. And there have been certain people who were very vocal at one point. It's essentially punishing poor behavior. Like negative reinforcement. You do that, there, you get hit. You do that thing, that crush your character.
So is that the consequences piece that you're getting to?
Yeah. So it's interesting.
Because some people would say, consequences, if you don't go down a particular path.
Yes. So what I'm saying here is that when the players are fucking about, playing grab ass, doing whatever it is they're doing, do you, as a game master, decide to say, you know what? Okay, fine. Wandering monsters, and you punish the characters. Or do you say, okay, guys, look, here's the deal. You break that fourth wall. You look at the players and say, look, you guys need to figure out a better way to have this conversation because you can't talk like this in the middle of a goddamn fight. Make up your mind. It is your turn.
Or a social encounter.
Or whatever the encounter is. Like, you can't do that. Stop. And sometimes I'm like, that's taking control of the table, saying, guys, folks, stop. Look, it's Eileen's turn. I understand Susan and Chris have a really good idea. You two are not there, or it is her turn to do this thing in the fight. Eileen, what are you doing? And vice versa. In the large social encounters, like, look, all y'all sons of bitches can't be talking all at the same time like this. Are you really talking like this in front of the king? Is that what you're doing? Right. Okay. Because then when you get clapped in irons, don't blame me. And I think when you because we'll talk oftentimes about, I shouldn't say we, but gamers in general, like, problem players, blah, blah, blah. And I think when we're doing exactly what we just said, I am warning the player that the type of behavior you are exhibiting has a consequence. I'm warning you because I stop the game for a second and say, look, is what you're saying right now what you're saying to everybody? Oh, shit, yeah, we should probably. All right, let's wrap this up. Or, hey, how about you stop being an asshole and trying to tell, Mark how to play his character? Stop doing that. I love you, Zave, but it's Lenny's turn. Let him go. Right?
So what do you do, Brett?
So
I do run into this a lot or what?
I have over the years. And what I do, and my group will get going on this every once in a while. I'm like, stop. Okay, hang on. It's his turn. Or like, okay, hold on a second, guys. You are in a 10 by 10 room. You're trying to sneak into this area. Are you really having this discussion right now?
Yeah, they're sneaking down the hallway.
Are you really having this discussion right now?
Right.
I'm asking because the scout that's way up there who's trying to be really quiet, you're bumblefucking your way down this hallway, screaming, yelling, and threatening to stab each other? Are you really doing that right now? And I think that that's one of those times when we kind of snap the group and like grab them by the collar, shake them a little bit and say, guys, men, women, folks playing with us, let's stay on task. Let's get back here. Come on. I have gamed with players, or game masters, you should say, in the past, where they will not warn you, and then the beholder shows up, smokes a party. Well, you stood in the hallway talking too long. I rolled some dice, beholder showed up, you all died. Wait, what? Well, we thought we were just talking out of character. We were just having so you killed my 10th level paladin. Really? So what I'm saying is some of the consequences, depending on what it is, if I'm talking about players right now, we'll talk about PCs in a second. If players are doing something untoward or foolish or whatnot, I think it's important that we as game masters and players, everybody at the table, learns to separate and say, this is a personal, real life behavioral thing we're trying to fix right now, whatever that thing is. And we don't punish the characters. We don't use the character as a proxy to punish the people. I've seen players do that to each other. Like, oh, he says that out loud, I stab him. Well, I wouldn't have said that out loud. Nope, too bad. You said it, I heard it, I fucking stab you. And tensions are rising.
You've had player characters do that to each other?
Oh, yeah, I've had player characters do that to over the years. Mostly in high school, that's what happened. But I've actually seen this at, I've heard of this at gaming conventions. I've talked to people, and I have run for smaller one-shot groups at like a game club before, and they're like, oh, you say that? I stab you. What? Oh, whoa, stop. And what's happening is when players said something. I would just
sit back and be like.
Just sit back and let the chaos happen. So I think there's that type of consequences when we're dealing with that is, I believe it's inappropriate to use the player as a proxy to hurt somebody. We use the player character, the PC. Don't use a character sheet as a proxy to punish the player for poor player behavior. I'm being a dick at the table.
Being pretty soft, Brett.
A little bit. But then on the flip side, when the player does well, that's what my character would do. All right. The law shows up at 3:30 in the morning with guns to your head because you did exactly what your character would do. The world is reacting to you. You can, if the PC does something stupid, the PC gets punished, corrected, whatever, then the world reacts to them. If the players look at you and say, yes, all 5 of us are having this discussion in front of the king. Really? Absolutely.
Well, what happened now? Hold on a second.
Now we've gone from bizarre players to PCs.
No, what happens when you get half the people that say, no, we're not, and then the other half go, yeah, yes, we are. Then
you either are or aren't. That's players.
Yeah.
That's player dynamic, horseshit, asshattery. Gotta calm it down.
In my game, Jeff speaks for all players.
I love Jeff.
I bust his chops every time we play because he will actively at the table say, she's going to do this. Whoa. Or we're going to do that. Whoa.
Everybody on board with him?
Everybody with Jeff here? Hell no. Hold on a second. Hell no. Time out. They're like, okay. All right.
So you were addressing, I love you, Jeff, but that's not really, that's somebody who's trying to drive and move. I've met Jeff once. I've talked to him for an hour or so. And I'm like, this guy likes to move. He likes to make shit happen. I get it. He's a rainmaker, man. Throw him at the table. He's going to make shit happen.
How? I don't know about that.
Well.
What?
Anyway, point being, that's my take.
Yeah.
I have not yet had the pleasure. Regardless, that's player behavior. I think it's interesting where there used to be an approach of like learn through pain, right? You wouldn't warn anybody. Well, yeah, my character does, blah, blah, blah. Ask the king, walks up to the king and says, is that booger in your nose? You really say that? Well, I really probably wouldn't. And some game masters would be like, oh yeah, okay, fine. You're thrown in prison and beheaded. What? Because you're rude and obnoxious, and this king's a terrible person, and that's what happens. He has no sense of humor. What? Well, you can't just kill my character. Yes, I can. That people would use, or I have seen it, and I continue to hear stories about this, where people use the character as a proxy to punish the player for shitty player behavior.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And I know there's a line where when somebody's being a douche and you're like, dude,
Right.
and 90 times out of 100, it's a guy
Right.
that I've ever seen. It's like, I'm Wolverine. I'm the best there is at what I do. What I do isn't pretty. I'm the single loner. I do this, I do that, and I stab the party and I steal from them. And you're like, okay, so that's really what you do? Yeah. Okay, so when the players catch you, the other PCs catch you, they might kill you. Well, why would they do that? I'm just doing what my character would do. Well, they're doing what their characters would do, and they murder your dumb, thieving ass. Right? So I think if it's PC versus PC, we get in a player versus or a character versus character. I think if a character is doing something foolish, my buddy Lenny, for example, his character did something incredibly stupid in not this Delta Green, but the one beforehand, and his character died.
Whoops.
And he's like, you know what? And someone goes, why did you do that? He goes, you know what? Based on what's going on, it just felt like the thing my character would do. And I said, it makes sense to me. I'm with you. And everybody else went, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. I got it. Good. Other people have done horribly stupid shit at the table. JR, what the fuck did you do that for? Look, here's the bind I'm in. I'm seeing my character's perspective like this. That's why I attacked the king. Okay, we don't like it. I get where you're coming from. All right, let's do that thing. There's a player, why did you do that to other player? And the player says, this is why my character is doing that. They explain themselves, right? And as long as it is not a pat, that's what my character does, how dare you? Most players I've gamed with, the good gamers, are like, well, my character would do this, and here's my logic why. We say, oh, okay, yeah, buy that. And sometimes we challenge it and say, no, hang on. Spoonflower, Flyleaf, the elf would never have done that. He would have, I thought he changed last. Oh, shit, you're right. You know what? Yeah, I guess. No, can I take that back? Can I walk that one back, Game Master? No, sure, walk that back. That was a dumb idea anyway. Yeah, you're damn right. Well, I'm sorry about that. But when either the player or the PC, when you're using one as a way to target or hurt the other, I think that's where we need to make sure that whatever the action, the consequence to the action, the consequence is taking place at the right level or the right place, right? If the players are being assholes, the consequence is you talking about players and player behavior. If the PC is being an asshole, it's PC consequences based on PC behavior within the game world. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Do you disagree with me? You better not. God damn it. I'll talk with you.
No, I don't disagree, but as I was thinking about this, it would be interesting to run a game where nobody was out of character.
It's called a LARP.
No, I don't think so.
A good LARP.
Well, true. But I think you could play a role-playing game without...
Oh, totally.
We leave. We do this. Like, you just tell me, like, hey, I'm gonna go wander down the road and see what's up there.
I honestly think it's harder.
Or you write notes for anything out of character. Like, right?
I think it is difficult to do. I shouldn't say every. A lot of game groups I've been in over the years, either longer term, shorter. I mean, the guys I've been with now have been well over 20 years. We've developed, depending on the game we're playing, certain mechanisms to deal with that. Sometimes it's just shit we do. I don't even know if it's well thought out or whatnot. But I've been places where we're like, okay, everything you say your character says, unless you write it down. Type of thing. That's harder than it sounds. It sounds like, oh, how tough could that be? I'll just text you, or I'll just email you, or I'll just do this. I think you're onto something where it'd be interesting to try it, but I think it'd be hard. Especially if it's not a thing your group does. It's a muscle you've got to exercise.
Yeah, man.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad just because it's difficult doesn't mean it shouldn't be done or couldn't be tried. That'd be hard.
I'm interested to hear if anybody has tried that. If you're at the table and you're playing a role-playing game, you don't have to LARP. You don't have to get up and act.
Oh, no.
But as you show up, the DM introduces or recaps the last session.
Yep.
Sets the scene. Okay, last we left off, you were all at a campfire in the lost city of Omu.
And nobody says, oh, that reminds me, I went camping last week and I got a funny story for you. And the group just goes, no. We talk about the smoke break. We don't talk about that right now.
Right.
Now we're in game.
Right.
Having a clear line of like, look, players are designed, we have to behave in this way, or our consequences are we shut you down. PCs must behave in this way, or consequences are.
Or you got to go to the bathroom. Have your, hey, player character, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you better, or bring a jug.
Sounds good. Hit the tree line. All right. Comes back, sits down. Where'd you go? Had to go see a man about a horse.
I think I would be willing to bet somebody out there's doing it. And I would be willing to bet that
I know somebody's
it's
probably tried it, but I don't know how successful it is and what they've had hang-ups on.
I would be willing to bet that one of the pieces with that type of thing, where you're trying to make sure that all the consequences are appropriate, everything is, you're in focus, you're in the right zone and so forth, is the intensity, right? It's very intense.
Well, people they'll joke. There's a lot of us that,
oh, fuck, dude, I just ran Delta Green. I started at like 2 and quit at like 9 or 10. It's on Saturday. And there's probably at least an hour between, and I'm not talking like, hey, a couple guys had to go outside and smoke because I got a few dudes who still smoke. Oh, we were going to have break for lunch, or we're going to get dinner, or whatever it is we're doing. And somebody goes, oh, hang on, that reminds me of, I got to tell you this thing. I see these guys once a month.
Right.
So I go up. They're some of my best friends. Well, we sit down and like, oh, wait, that reminds me, I saw this movie. Did you see that movie? Oh, fuck, I forgot to tell you before the game started. But, and to take all that out, to scrape all that away and stay focused, like hyper-focused, it'd be hard.
Yeah. I've got to say that it would be very difficult. I'm not saying it would be easy for any group, because part of the role-playing game experience is sitting at a table, playing the game, and shooting the shit. That's not really even game-related at times. Sure.
So I'm going to jump back for a second. Have you ever, in your gaming career, either been the guy or played with the people that did this, where when the players are fucking around or they do dumb things, you don't even warn them? You just, ethereal mummy, bolt from the blue, dragon swoops down and eats your horses, where you're punishing the characters because the players are fucking about. Have you done that?
I don't think I have.
I know I have. It's not a proud game master moment when I look back. It was kind of juvenile of me, in my opinion, but I've done it.
Most of the times, if something like that occurs, it's more of a miscommunication. It's okay, I walk in the room. Okay, you walk in the room. Great. Who else is in the room with them? Nobody? Great. Okay. The hammer falls down on your head. The anvil. Whatever.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No. I didn't
10 by 10 solid brick and mortar. You take 66 damage, and your first level, you're dead.
No, I didn't do that. I would have slid in there. I would have opened the door, but I wouldn't have walked in or whatever. Or, are you opening the door? Yeah. Okay. I grabbed the knob. Okay, you're hit with a,
But you never
poison
said
trap.
Too goddamn bad. That's what you said you did. That's what fucking happens. Your PC's dead, or this happens.
In certain situations like that, I have. Like, you told me you were going to grab the door and open the door. You didn't specify how, so I could only assume you're grabbing the knob or the lever and you're pushing the door open. You're not smashing it open. You're not checking for traps. You're not doing all that search crap. You're opening the door.
Players get cranky with you when you do that?
It depends. Well, if something bad happens to them, yeah. But if nothing bad happened, they'd be like, I opened the door. It opens, right? Nothing happens. Right? It's only when shit gets, silly and messy and they get perturbed because something happens to them when they...
That's not what I meant.
Yeah. When it's assumed that they're doing something they don't say. Like, I've even said at the gaming table, look, I am not a mind reader. If you don't tell me exactly what you're doing, I'm just going to assume baseline assumption, which means, like, you open the door, you're opening the door.
I've been told that by my wife. Look, asshole, I'm not a mind reader. I got to admit, she's not. She's really smart, but she can't read my brain.
No, women are pretty good. They got good intuition, but,
No, Susan
I definitely am not a mind reader. I can't.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, so that it's interesting because I think, especially when you're doing theater of mind, and sometimes even with, I'll tell you what, man, let me scratch that for a second. Even with figs, you gotta go down the hall. I take your fig and I move you down the hall. You step in a trap. Whatever.
I didn't go that way.
Look, you bastard! You didn't.
I wouldn't have went straight. I would have wound down the corridor.
Yeah, you need to come up and move your miniature then.
Right.
Well, it's a long way to the end of the table. Get off your ass and come down and move your fucking fig.
Dude, there's these new things now. Did you see these new things?
What, little push
People
sticks?
are Yes. They're popping up with all these little claw. They're like extended back scratchers. I'm not shitting you, man. They're all over. I've seen them on Twitch. People are like, they got little claws on the end. They're like, doo-doo-doo. That's how they use their miniatures. Like, oh my God.
So when I run into that, with a miniature perspective, I'm like, look, you did this. Well, you told me I told you to move my character down. I didn't think you move him like he's an idiot. Okay, first off, you don't know what's in the fucking hall. So the consequence here is you just move down the hall because you didn't bother to tell me what it is you're actually doing. Well, all right, how about this? Next time, I'll let you have it this time, but if you do that again, it's 66 damage, a big stone block in your head. Got it? All right, Brett, I guess.
Dude, and it's funny, you've gamed with these guys for how long, right?
Oh, that's not just those guys. That's other people I play with.
I know, but it's funny because it's just because you play with somebody for 20, 10, 25, or 5 years or whatever, it's still the same discussion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's goofy. There are certain discussions I don't have anymore.
Like what?
So like, how do I roll up a character? It's Brett's game.
Oh, sure.
You roll a character. Oh, it's Brett's game. I need to be more descriptive about certain things, otherwise this will happen to me. Every once in a while, someone will forget, and then they're like, "Oh yeah," and the rest of the group looks at them and goes, "Hey, dumbass, you told them to move your fucking mini down the thing. You didn't tell them to move it in a serpentine fashion with your head low behind the bushes, so you got shot. Suck it up."
Yeah.
But to your point, though, we all forget. And sometimes it's almost worse when you've been playing with someone for a very long time because you don't go, "Hey, Sean, okay, so what I would normally do is X, Y, and Z. Is that allowed? Can I do this? When you move me down the hall, I really want to make sure I do." I'm overly descriptive with a new game master. And I've found new players, new groups I'm playing with, especially at gaming conventions. They give me more because there's no assumption. Because they've not gamed with me before in some cases. And they really want to make sure that they're saying what it is that they really want to do, especially when you're theater of mind. And even minis on the table, they really want to make sure they're moving it where they want to move it. And I think sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. We're used to each other. And there's also a level of, like you said with Jeff, where I can look at my guys and go, "Hey, asshole, look, that's not how this fucking works. We talked about this 1,000 times."
Right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. However,
with the miniatures piece, it's always okay, I just want to make sure, is everybody's miniature in the place that they're actually standing?
Yeah.
No. I'm not there. I'm back here.
You get up and move it.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Damn thing. Okay. So,
but I think like I said, I don't like wailing on the character because as a proxy to say something to the player. I will often say, "Okay, your character moves. This is occurring." Well, all right, push the character aside and say, "Look, you, sir and or madam, need to be better in the way you describe this to me," or whatever. We've talked about this. Player behavior, game master behavior, whatever it is we're correcting or reminding ourselves of, whatever we talked about in our session 0, whatnot. We're having that, this style of play right now, we've got a play conflict. I don't like doing, "No, your character's dead," and then digging my heels in and holding my ground saying, "No, nope. Now, fifth time in, I've warned you 5 times. Yeah, you're right. I warned you 5 fucking times. You walked down the hall, you fell down a goddamn pit, you got eaten by a cube. What do you want me to do, man?"
Well, the good thing about doing it with the character is you could put violence on the character. You can't
yes.
on the player without going to jail or being charged.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, you can. You might suffer some
consequences.
Exactly. Some pretty bad consequences.
Very serious consequences.
So
Very
I think,
serious.
There's that trade-off.
Yes, absolutely. But I think it's interesting. I've seen enough and I've heard enough over the years, and even at conventions now where I'm talking to people who are gaming right now, even people newer, like, "Oh yeah, if a player does that, if a player lets a character do that, then I just smoke their character. That'll teach the player." Or, "Now the player will learn because it did this thing to their character." I'm like, I don't know if Maybe some players will learn that way, but that's kind of a dick thing to do, to crush the character in a way to provide a consequence for me as quote unquote bad play, or playing in a way that isn't working for the group or agreed upon. However you want to do it. If I'm using the PC as a proxy to wump on the player, the person, it feels wrong to me.
I would have to say that I would find it very heavy-handed to do that. I wouldn't inherently want to do that. And of course, there's precedence, right? Like, okay, this is the third time. There will not be a fourth. I'm just letting you know, right? Everybody hear me? Everybody good? Everybody clear? Any problems? Good? Okay. Yeah. That's kind of it, right?
No, totally.
So,
anyway, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
We threw a couple different things out there. Tried to stick around the consequences piece. Of course, we vacillated, went off in other directions and whatnot. But let us know what you think about this, how you've dealt with it or had it dealt with you. If you've had a really good experience, if you've had a horrible, shitty experience. Those are always fun to hear about. Let us know what you got.
All right.
Let's die roll it, man.
Die roll. 2d4. Miscellaneous points of gaming and Greekery we want to share with you. First one, Tony Sugarloaf Baker supplies us with a character sheet for those that have dyslexia. Genius.
That's fucking cool, man.
It is super cool. So there's the article that he found it on, probably, and then there's the sheet. We'll have a link to both, so check those out. It's making its way around the social medias, so very cool stuff. Yeah,
that's a good find, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah. Second one, Kevin Culp. Some of you may know who he is, some may not. I follow him on Twitter. He is the individual behind Time Watch, which is a powered
Pelgrane Press game.
Yes, a Pelgrane Press gumshoe game.
There you go.
But he mentioned, because all the Star Wars stuff that's going on, I don't know, I guess there's a new movie out or something, that he said, hey, if you want that kind of RPG with a rules light system, check out Save the Universe. And he has absolutely no financial stake in it at all. He just thought it was a great game. It's an RPG by Don Bisdorf. We have a link to drive through if you want to check that out. I may actually buy it because it's like, I think $5. So.
Hey, it's a PDF. Why not, man?
Yeah.
That's easy. That takes up a lot less shelf space.
Yes,
than
it does.
The stuff.
Third one, Call of Cthulhu comes to Roll20.net.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think it's the second most played game on Roll20 now.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't always. It's been bubbling up to the top. But 7th edition, Call of Cthulhu. Now you could buy. Now I know some of us are like, well, I got the book and I don't want to buy the rules on Roll20. Sure, I understand, but the option is there. I think they have free quick start rules.
It's all about options, right?
Yeah.
And some people are like, I don't like it, don't need it, don't want it, because that's not what I use Roll20 for. There are other people who use all the bells and whistles on Roll20, and this type of thing is invaluable. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Another one, Ian World is running a poll. Vote for your favorite RPG talk podcast. There's an actual link in the same article, I think near the bottom, that you can go and vote for your favorite actual play podcast.
Very cool. I'm glad they're splitting the two.
Yes.
That makes sense to me.
We're listed amongst like 150 other podcasts.
There's some cool podcasts out there, man.
So if you are hurting for podcasts, there's like 150 there you can just check out.
Yeah, I mean, Gnomecast, She's a Super Geek. There's tons of cool stuff up there.
Tons of them. So
yeah,
go and vote for your favorite talk show RPG podcast.
I am always shocked and humbled and honored that I look like, oh, fuck, we're on there. Oh, wow, that's neat.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then the last one, Matt V mentioned his blog. We'll have a link to his blog out there if you want to check that out. Thanks, Matt, for putting it out there. We want to make sure everybody that's got something going on everybody else is aware of it.
Cool.
Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, I think that is.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If we don't, you could listen to this in like October, so I don't know. But it's right now as we're recording it. It's December 23rd.
If Sean gets this out there before Well, who fucking cares?
I should be able to-
2019, happy holidays.
Yeah, I
everybody.
should be able
It's
to
good
get out
stuff.
before Christmas, or at least Christmas Day, I think.
Well, that would be cool.
It would be my gift to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But do you know what we're talking about next time, Brett?
Well, damn, that thing from Kojo kind of hit me. That's a cool one, but I want to get some feedback. We're going to see if we can get Mr. Deshane on to talk about Astonishing Swordsman. If not, I might find end-of-year kind of softball-y stuff for us to talk about. So, and, sometimes we get some kick-ass listener feedback, and it could be a listener feedback episode. So, it's end of year. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, that's sweet.
Exactly.
All
Let's
right.
keep you on your toes, Sean.
Yeah, that's okay. I like being on my toes because someday I'm not going to be on them, and that's not going to be good.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. I'm Sean.
And I'm Brett. Good night and good game, all.
This episode of Gaming in BS brought to you with the help from the following BSers: Hawk Sparrow, Graham Miner, Corey Wynn, Joe Swick, Curtis Takahashi, Kevin Lovecraft, Tony Sugarloaf Baker, Aaron Raelia, Larry Hout, Mark Tasaka, Pure Mongrel, Chris Steele, Ron Bishop, Thomas Hook, Wayne Humphrey, Craig, Brandon Barnes, Laramie Wall, Dan LaValle, Jason Hobbs, Sky, Old School DM, Perry Besor, Michael Dinos, Jim Fitzpatrick, Christopher Gray, Bruce Cunnington, John Kayward, Corey Gonzalez, Eileen Barnes, Robert Nemeth, Niall Diamond, Howard Bishop, Mark Anthony Benedetti, Eric Salzweedle, The Closet Gamer, Jeff Goad, Aaron Coleman, Ray Otis, C.W. Mellencamp, Craig Huber, Rich Wishawn, Old Scouser Roleplaying, Jared Rasher, Andy Hall, David F. Baylog, Harrigan, Melissa Bashinsky, Brian Rumble, Henry Newcomb, Eric Tavola, Huss Carl, Roger Braslett, Mark Sohn, Andy Olson, Eric Avia, Ron Blessing, Jeff Seifert, Chad Gleeman, Finolf, Josh Wallace, and Mirko Froelich. For ways to support the show, head over to gamingandbs.com/support-us. Happy holidays, BSers. Thanks for your support.
This has been a Litterbox Studio production.